Tonight, we are going to strip away the comfort of your human life. You are lying in a bed that is dry, warm, and safe. The air in your room is easy to breathe. The temperature is controlled. If you are thirsty, clean water is steps away. If you are hungry, you do not have to hunt. You are the apex predator of your world, resting in a fortress of convenience. But for the next hour, you are going to lose all of that. Forget the cute, pink, smiling creatures you have seen in pet store tanks or internet memes. That is a lie. That is the sanitized version. Tonight, we are going deep into the murky, ancient reality of the wild. We are going to find out if you could survive in a body that refuses to grow up, in a lake that is slowly disappearing, and in an ocean where you are smaller than a fingernail. The good news is, you are about to possess superpowers that human science can barely understand. You will be able to regrow your own heart. You will be able to eat sunlight. The bad news, everything else in the dark wants to eat you first. So before we begin this descent, I have a small favor to ask. A quick like or a subscribe helps this channel more than you know. Also, let me know in the comments, where are you listening from tonight, and what time is it for you right now? It is always fascinating to see who is joining us. Now, let's leave the human world behind. Congratulations. You have just opened your eyes in the Xochimilco canal system in central Mexico. The year doesn't matter here. Time is fluid. The first thing you notice is the pressure. It presses against you from all sides, a cold, heavy embrace that never lets go. You are not on land. You will never be on land again. You are submerged in water that is thick with silt, ancient mud, and the tangled roots of ahuejote trees. It is dark here, not the pitch black of a cave, but a bruised, murky twilight. The light from the surface struggles to reach you, filtering down in weak green shafts that illuminate the dust motes dancing in the current. You try to take a breath, but your lungs are useless. If you try to breathe like a human, you will drown. Instead, you feel a strange feathery sensation around your neck. 3 branches of external gills on the left, 3 on the right. They are your lifeline. They float in the water around your head like a crown of dark red ferns. You don't breathe in. You let the water wash over them. You feel the oxygen seeping directly into your blood, cool and metallic. You are heavy. You are not a fish that darts and shimmers. You are a creature of the bottom. You feel the muck oozing between your toes, 4 toes on the front feet, 5 on the back. Your skin is not covered in protective scales. It is soft, permeable, and incredibly sensitive. You can feel the chemistry of the water against your naked skin. You can taste the salt, the decay, the minerals. You are open to the world in a way that is terrifying. You are an axolotl, and you are alone. There is no mother to guard you. There is no nest. You are a solitary biological engine in a canal system that has existed since the Aztecs built their floating gardens above your head. You feel a vibration in the water. Something is moving to your left. Your eyesight is terrible. Everything is a blur of shadows and movement. You rely on the pressure waves hitting your skin. Thump, thump, something large. You freeze. This is your primary defense. You do not run because you are not fast. You do not fight because you have no claws and your teeth are tiny. Sandpaper nubs meant for gripping, not tearing. You simply become part of the mud. You lower your belly against the silt. You pull your gills in tight. You stop the flow of blood to your extremities to stay still. The shape passes above you. A carp, an invasive species, introduced by humans who didn't know better. It is a tank compared to you, armored and hungry. It disturbs the silt, sending a cloud of grey dust into your face. You don't blink. You don't possess eyelids. You just stare into the gloom with those golden, unblinking eyes, waiting for the threat to pass. This is your life now. Hours of stillness, hours of waiting. You are a creature of patience in a world of speed. The carp disappears into the gloom, and you slowly let the tension leave your body. You lift your head. The water settles. You might be wondering when you are going to grow up. When will you shed this soft, vulnerable skin? When will you lose these feathery gills, grow strong lungs, and crawl up the muddy bank onto the dry land like the other salamanders do? Here is the cruel truth of your existence. You won't. You are trapped in a biological phenomenon called neoteny. It translates to extending youth, but in the wild, it feels more like a prison. Your cousins, the tiger salamanders, they change. They undergo metamorphosis. They drop their gills, they develop thick skin, and they walk away from the water to explore the earth. But you are the eternal child. You are chemically unable to produce the thyroid hormone that triggers that change. You are fully grown. You are an adult capable of reproduction. But you are stuck in the body of a larva, a giant, heavy baby. You look up toward the surface. It is a mirror of silver light, tantalizingly close. You can see the shadows of the roots breaking the waterline. You know there is a world up there, a world of air and sun and dry rocks. But you are forbidden from entering it. If you were to breach that surface and stay there, your skin would dry out in minutes. Your gills would collapse, sticking together like wet feathers, unable to pull oxygen from the air. You would suffocate in the open wind. So you turn back to the dark. This is your kingdom, the bottom. You push yourself forward, moving through the weeds. Your movement is not graceful. It is a slow side-to-side waddle. Your body is dense, made of heavy cartilage and water. You are distinctively lethargic. In this cold water, energy is expensive. You cannot afford to burn calories swimming in circles for fun. Every movement must have a purpose. You feel hunger. It is a dull, hollow ache in your stomach. You haven't eaten in 2 days. In the wild, there is no schedule. You eat when the lake provides, or you starve. You drift toward a cluster of reeds. Your skin sensors are tingling. You can smell the water. It tastes of iron and rotting vegetation. But underneath that, there is a faint chemical trail. Protein. You creep forward. Your limbs feel weightless in the water, but your belly drags on the mud. You are stalking. Ahead of you, a small mollusk is clinging to a root. It is hard-shelled, sealed tight. To a human, this looks like a rock. To you, it looks like survival. You do not bite it. You do not have the jaw strength to crush a shell. Instead, you prepare your secret weapon, vacuum. You inch closer. You need to be within millimeters. You are silent. You are a ghost in the machine of the lake. The mollusk opens its shell just a fraction to filter feed. Snap. It happens faster than the human eye could follow. You throw your mouth open, expanding the cavity of your throat instantly. This creates a massive negative pressure vacuum. The water rushes into your mouth with the force of a collapsing star, dragging the mollusk with it. Gulp. The shell rattles against your sandpaper teeth. You swallow it whole. You will digest the meat and spit out the shell later. It is a small victory. A few calories to keep the engine running. But as the satisfaction fades, you feel a shift in the water current. The temperature is dropping. Night is truly falling now. For most creatures, night is terrifying. But for you, the darkness is an ally. The invasive fish, the carp and the tilapia, they rely on sight. As the sun vanishes, they go blind. But you were born in the dark. You navigate by touch and smell. This is your time. You lift off the bottom, floating in the water column, suspended in the black void. It feels peaceful, but do not be deceived. In the wild, peace is just the pause between dangers. You drift past the sunken ruins of an old wooden boat, rotting into the lake bed. The history of humans is down here with you. Discarded tires, old clay pots, the skeletons of things that fell in. You ignore them. They are not food. They are not threats. They are just scenery in your underwater wasteland. But then you feel it. A sharp, stinging sensation on your tail. You spin around, water swirling. A crayfish. It was hiding in the rot of the boat. It has clamped its pincer onto the delicate, fin-like skin of your tail. It hurts. A sharp, electric signal shooting up your spine. You thrash, twisting your heavy body. The crayfish holds on for a second, then lets go, retreating into the shadows. You look at your tail. A chunk is missing. A piece of your flesh, jagged and bleeding, floats away in the current. In the human world, this is a permanent injury, a scar, a disability. But you are not human. You are an axolotl. And the biology inside you is already waking up. You don't panic. You don't cry out. You simply float there, feeling the cold water seal the wound. The cells at the edge of the injury are not dying. They are reverting. They are turning back the clock, forgetting they were skin cells and becoming stem cells again. They are preparing to do something impossible. They are preparing to build you a new tail. This is why you survive. You are soft. You are slow. You are trapped in the water, but you are immortal in pieces. You are floating in the shadows, missing a part of yourself. In the human world, an injury like this is a crisis. It is a siren calling for bandages, stitches, and weeks of fragile recovery. It is a permanent marker of trauma. But here, deep in the silt-choked water, you do not feel panic. You feel a strange cold hum. Focus on your tail. The pain has dulled now, replaced by a frantic buzzing sensation. It feels like static electricity rippling through your waterlogged skin. This is the feeling of a biological miracle that human medicine has chased for centuries but never caught. You are not scarring over. Scar tissue is a clumsy patch job, a thick, dead wall that the body builds to stop bleeding. You don't do patches, you do reconstruction. Right now, at the very edge of the wound, your cells are stripping off their identities. A bone cell is forgetting it is bone. A muscle cell is forgetting it is muscle. They are reverting to a blank state, a chaotic slurry of potential called a blastema. It forms a pale, translucent cone over the injury site. You can feel the energy draining from the rest of your body to feed this construction site. You feel heavier. Your metabolism, usually so slow it barely registers, is suddenly roaring like a furnace. You drift lower, settling your belly onto a flat, moss-covered stone. You need to be still. You need to let the factory work. Over the next few days, which pass in this story like a slow dissolve of light and shadow, you feel the phantom limb become real again. First, the cartilage shoots out, a soft white scaffold. Then, the nerves thread their way through like microscopic wiring, reconnecting the circuit. Finally, the skin wraps around it all, seamless and perfect. If a human loses a finger, it is gone. If you lose a tail, an arm, or even a part of your own heart, you simply print a new one. But this power comes with a terrible cost. It is expensive. You are exhausted. The regeneration has siphoned your calorie reserves. You are thinner now. The water feels colder against your skin because you have burned your insulation to fuel the repair. You are vulnerable. And while you are healing, the lake has been changing around you. You lift your head. The water tastes different tonight. It doesn't taste like the clean, mineral-rich mud of your ancestors. It tastes bitter, metallic, oily. You are living in Xochimilco, a remnant of a vast ancient lake system that once covered the Valley of Mexico, but the city above has grown thirsty. It has drained the aquifer. The water level is dropping. You can feel the ceiling of your world lowering, pressing down on you. And it's not just the level, it's the quality. The water is thick with nitrogen from the farms, with runoff from the streets. It burns your gills slightly as it passes over them. It makes the oxygen harder to grab. You have to flick your gills more often, a frantic fanning motion just to get a decent breath. You are a creature designed for a pristine, ancient world that no longer exists. You are a biological masterpiece living in a collapsing house. You push off the stone. You need to find cleaner water. You need to find the deep cold. You swim past the roots of the ahuejote trees. Usually, these roots are a sanctuary, a maze where you can hide. But tonight, they feel crowded. The water here is murky, choked with algae that bloomed in the heat. The algae sucks the oxygen out of the water at night, stealing the very air from your blood. You feel a wave of dizziness, hypoxia. You are suffocating underwater. You cannot go to the surface. The air will dry you out. You cannot stay here. The water is too thin. You are trapped between two deaths. So you do the only thing an axolotl can do when the world turns against it. You go down. You angle your head toward the bottom, toward the thickest, deepest layer of sediment. This is the historic mud, the mud that has been here for 10,000 years. It is cooler here. The oxygen is low, but the temperature is stable. You are going to bury yourself. You reach the bottom. The mud here is soft, almost like velvet. It is composed of centuries of decayed leaves, volcanic ash, and the dust of civilizations that have risen and fallen above your head. You begin to dig. You use your front legs, your small hand-like paws pushing the silt aside. You are not digging a tunnel. You are digging a grave for the living. You wiggle your hips, driving your heavy body backward into the muck. The silt rises up around you in a dark cloud, then settles, covering your back, covering your tail, covering everything but your face and your gills. You sink deeper. The pressure of the mud feels good. It acts like a weighted blanket, pressing against your sensory organs, dampening the noise of the world. The vibration of the carp is gone. The bitter taste of the surface water is muffled. You are encased in the earth. You slow your heart rate down. Thump. Wait. Wait. Thump. You are entering a state of torpor. It is not quite hibernation, but it is close. It is the survival mode where you shut down all non-essential systems. You stop hunting. You stop moving. You stop thinking. You just exist. In this state, you are safe. The herons cannot see you. The invasive fish cannot find you. You are just another bump in the bottom of the canal. This is the only way you survive the modern world. By becoming invisible. By waiting for a better time that might never come. As your heartbeat slows, the boundaries of your body begin to feel fuzzy. The darkness of the mud blends with the darkness of your mind. You are drifting. And as you drift, something strange happens to the water around you. In your sleep, the chemistry shifts. The heavy, stagnant freshness of the Mexican canal begins to fade. The taste of rot and iron dissolves. You are dreaming, and in this dream, the water is moving. It is not the sluggish current of a dying lake. It is a rhythmic, powerful pulse. Push, pull, push, pull. The heartbeat of the planet. The water is getting clearer. The muddy gloom is being replaced by a crystalline blue, and it is getting salty. You can taste the brine on your lips. It is sharp and clean. It tastes of iodine and vast distances. Your body is changing too. The heavy, fleshy weight of the salamander is shrinking. You are becoming smaller, much smaller. The bones in your legs are dissolving. The skeleton that anchored you to the mud is vanishing, leaving you soft, pliable, and light. You are no longer a giant in the dark. You are becoming a speck in the light. The mud around you falls away, but you do not wake up. You simply drift out of the sediment, carried by a current that is warm and rich. You are traveling thousands of miles in the span of a single heartbeat. You are leaving the high-altitude lakes of Mexico and drifting into the warm, sun-drenched currents of the Indo-Pacific. The darkness is lifting. The water is brightening. A pale, turquoise glow begins to surround you. You are about to wake up, but not as the monster of the mud. You are about to wake up, but you stop yourself. To wake up is to surface, and to surface is to burn. You push your consciousness back down, deep into the safety of the silt. You are not ready to leave the dark. You have never been ready. There is a memory in your DNA, older than the canal, older than the city of Mexico that looms above you. It is the memory of why you are down here in the first place. You are not just a biological anomaly. You are a mythological fugitive. The Aztecs, the humans who built these Chinampa gardens 1,000 years ago, they knew your secret. They didn't name you Water Dog because you were cute. They named you Axolotl, after the god of fire and lightning, the twin brother of the feathered serpent, Quetzalcoatl. The legend whispers through your blood. It says that when the fifth sun was created, the gods needed to sacrifice themselves to make the stars move. One by one, they jumped into the fire. But Axolotl refused. He was afraid. He looked at the fire, and he looked at the death that waited for him, and he ran. He used his power to shapeshift. First, he hid in the maize fields, becoming a double stalk of corn, but the wind found him. Then, he hid in the maguey plants, becoming a twisted cactus, but the knife found him. Finally, terrified and desperate, he ran to the water. He dove into the mud of this very lake. He transformed into you, the axolotl. He froze his development. He trapped himself in the body of a larva forever, so that he could hide in the eternal twilight of the bottom. You are the god who was too afraid to die. And as you lie here, encased in the heavy volcanic mud, you feel that ancient fear. It is a survival instinct so powerful it has kept your species alive for millions of years, while other, stronger animals have gone extinct. You do not fight, you do not conquer, you hide. This is the dark reality of your life. You are a master of avoidance. Your entire biology is designed to be unseen. Your skin is mottled with black and grey specks, mimicking the shadows of the gravel. Your gills are dark red, mimicking the roots of the ahuejote trees. Even your bones are soft, made of cartilage, so they don't snap under the pressure of the world. You are soft because you are fluid. You bend so you do not break. You feel the water temperature drop another degree. It is deep night now. The silence of the mud should be comforting, but your lateral line sensors, the vibration detectors running down the side of your body, are picking up a disturbance. It is faint at first, a rhythmic churning. Thump, thump, thump. It is not a natural sound. It is not the chaotic splashing of a fish or the rustle of a crayfish. It is mechanical. It is relentless. You pull your limbs in tighter against your body. You squeeze your eyes shut, even though you have no eyelids. You know what this is. The lake is not just yours anymore. It belongs to the giants, the humans. Above you, on the surface, that you are forbidden to touch, wooden boats are moving. They are heavy, flat-bottomed barges. They push a wave of pressure ahead of them that hits the canal floor like a physical blow. To a human, a boat ride is a leisure activity. To you, it is an earthquake. The vibration intensifies. The silt around you begins to shake. The protective layer of mud you dug for yourself is rattling loose. You feel naked. You feel the crushing weight of the hull passing overhead, blocking out the faint starlight, turning your world into a black void. The pole of the boatman stabs down into the water. Crash. It strikes the rocks inches from your head. A cloud of debris explodes into your face. You do not flinch. Flinching is movement, and movement is death. You hold the stillness of the statue. You channel the god Axolotl. You become the mud. The boat passes. The turbulence lingers, swirling your gills around your head. But you have survived. The giants did not see you. This is your victory. Not a roar, but a silence. You have outlasted the fire, and now you have outlasted the machine. You have survived the boat, but the victory is short-lived. In fact, it might have been the catalyst for something far worse. As you lie there frozen in the silt, a new alarm begins to ring in your primitive brain. It is quieter than the mechanical thrum of the engine, but far more deadly because it comes from inside your own blood. The heavy wooden barge that just passed didn't just scare you, it ruined your atmosphere. The turbulence of its wake has kicked up tons of organic decay. Rotting alhuejote leaves, fish waste, centuries of old mud, and the chemical residue of the city above. As this debris swirls around you in a thick, choking cloud, the bacteria in the water go into a feeding frenzy. And as they feast on the rot, they consume the oxygen. You are lying in a dead zone. The water chemistry has shifted violently in the span of 30 seconds. You flick your external gills, those 3 feathery branches on either side of your head. Usually, this subtle motion pulls fresh, oxygenated water across your blood vessels, allowing the gas to diffuse effortlessly into your system. But now, you are just fanning dead, warm water against your face. Nothing is coming in. You feel a tightness in your chest, a phantom pressure that starts in your throat and spreads to your tail. Your cells are screaming for fuel. The carbon dioxide is building up in your blood, turning it acidic, burning your veins from the inside out. You are suffocating. You have a choice to make, and it is a terrible one. The kind of choice that evolution tries to avoid at all costs. You can stay here in the safety of the dark, hoping the silt settles before you black out. If you stay, you might slowly fall into a carbon dioxide narcosis, a coma from which you will never wake up. You will simply become part of the sediment. Or you can make a run for the surface. You possess a secret backup system. Unlike most water creatures, unlike the fish that surround you, you have a pair of rudimentary lungs tucked inside your chest. They are ancient, weak, barely used sacs of tissue that date back to a time when your ancestors considered walking on land. They work, but using them requires a massive risk. To use them, you have to leave the bottom. The surface is where the death lives. The surface is where the herons wait with their spear-like beaks, watching for the slightest ripple. The surface is where the sun burns your delicate skin. The surface is the domain of the humans and their crushing machines. But the darkness is closing in. You wait until your vision starts to tunnel, until the black edges of your sight creep toward the center. Your body is twitching, a reflex to the acidification of your blood. You have no choice. You engage your muscles. You push off the bottom. The swim up is agonizing. You are heavy, built for the floor, designed to crawl in the mud, not to ascend. You have to thrash your tail hard to fight gravity. You rise through the water column, passing the twisted roots of the trees that look like skeletal fingers reaching for you. You pass the floating garbage of the city, plastic bags that drift like jellyfish, old tires that leak oil. You pass the schools of invasive tilapia that watch you with hungry, golden eyes. They are faster than you. They could tear your gills apart in seconds, but they are startled by your sudden movement, and you slip past them. You are exposed. You are a soft, dark silhouette against the light from above. Every second you spend swimming is a gamble. 10 feet, 5 feet. The pressure decreases, but the fear increases. 2 feet. You can see the meniscus of the surface, a shimmering silver barrier that separates your world from the alien sky. You break the surface. Gulp. It is violent. You throw your head out of the water, opening your mouth wide. For 1 second, you are part of the human world. You feel the dry, hot air hit your slimy skin like a physical blow. You hear the roar of Mexico City, cars, sirens, music, shouting, unfiltered by the dampening weight of the water. It is a cacophony of chaos that hurts your sensitive ears. The light is blinding. You snap your mouth shut, trapping a bubble of air. You swallow it down, forcing it into those withered lungs. It burns. The air is too rich, too dry, too pure. But it diffuses into your blood instantly. A hit of pure oxygen that feels like liquid lightning. The grey edges of your vision vanish. Your heart kicks hard against your ribs. Now, the dive. You cannot stay here. You are a target. You flip your tail, splashing the surface. A dangerous noise that rings out like a dinner bell to every predator in 100-yard radius, and drive yourself back down. You swim with everything you have spiraling back into the gloom. You need the cold. You need the dark. But there is a problem. The air you just swallowed has made you buoyant. You are fighting your own physics now. You are a balloon trying to sink. You have to thrash harder, burning precious energy you don't have, forcing your way back down through the warmer upper layers into the cold deep. Every stroke of your tail is a battle against the air trapped in your own chest. You crash back into the mud at the bottom, kicking up a fresh cloud of silt to cover your landing. You dig your claws into the debris, anchoring yourself against the lift. You lie there, panting. Not with your gills, but with your lungs. You can feel the bubble of air inside you, shifting as you breathe, trying to pull you back up to the danger zone. You have to fight to stay down, gripping the rocks with your toes. You made it. You stole a breath from the sky and brought it back to the underworld. But the effort has shattered you. Your energy reserves are completely empty. The adrenaline crash hits you like a physical weight, pressing you deeper into the muck. You cannot hunt tonight. You cannot even crawl. You are completely spent. Your body begins to shut down, not into death, but into a recovery sleep so deep it feels like dissolving. You let go of the tension. You let the mud take you. The bubble of air inside you slowly dissolves, molecule by molecule, absorbed into your blood to keep the machine running while you rest. The buoyancy fades, and you settle heavy and flat against the bottom once more. The panic of the surface run is over. The noise of the city is gone. Now, there is only the exhaustion, a total systemic collapse of energy that feels strangely peaceful. It is a heavy, leaden feeling, as if your bones are turning into stone. It starts in your extremities. Your toes go numb, losing their tactile connection to the mud. Then your tail, the one you fought so hard to regrow, goes silent. Then the feathery stalks of your gills stop their frantic flicking and simply drift in the current like seaweed. You are surrendering to the fatigue. You are unhooking yourself from the world. You close your internal eye. You sink your consciousness deeper into the biological machine of your body. past the hunger, past the fear, past the instinct to hide. You are going to sleep, but this is not a human sleep. A human sleep is just a pause, a brief refreshing of the mind. This is a metamorphosis of the soul. As you drift off, the chemistry of the water seems to change again. The pollution of Xochimilco, the heavy nitrogen, the taste of iron, the silt of the Aztec canals, it all begins to recede. It drains away from your senses like water down a drain. It is replaced by a new sensation, a memory that isn't yours but belongs to your DNA, a memory encoded in the proteins of your cells from millions of years ago, before your ancestors crawled into this high-altitude lake. You are drifting through time. You are floating backward. You drift past the time of the humans with their boats and their noise. You drift past the time of the pyramids. You drift past the time when this valley was a forest. You are going back to the source. You are going back to when the continents were one. The water around you begins to churn. It feels lighter, less dense. It is moving faster, with a rhythmic, rolling power that rocks you back and forth. Push, pull, push, pull. The heartbeat of the planet. And then the salt hits you. In the real world, salt is fatal to an axolotl. It would draw the water out of your cells, desiccate your skin, and kill you in minutes. But in this dream, the salt is life. It rushes over your gills, but your gills are changing. They are shrinking, retracting into your body, being absorbed by a new form. Your heavy, wide head, built for shoveling mud, is narrowing. The cartilage is dissolving. The bone is vanishing. You are shedding the heavy winter coat of the salamander. You are becoming small, impossibly small. You are shedding mass at a terrifying rate. The heavy muscular tail that anchored you to the bottom is gone. Your 4 legs, with their tiny human-like fingers that grip the rocks, are retracting. They are merging, fusing into a single muscular foot that runs the length of your belly. You are losing your skeleton. You are becoming soft. You are becoming fluid. The darkness of the mud turns into a blinding electric blue. It is a light that penetrates everything. You are no longer buried in the dark, hiding from the sun. You are suspended in the light, bathed in it. The water column around you is so clear it looks like air, stretching up to a surface that isn't terrifying anymore, but welcoming. The transition is complete. You have left the lake. You have left the hemisphere. You have left the vertebrate kingdom entirely. You have drifted across the Pacific Ocean in the blink of an eye, carried by the currents of your own evolution. You are about to open your eyes. You are about to wake up. But you are not the monster of the mud anymore. You are not the god who hides in the dark. You are about to wake up as the eater of the sun. You open your eyes. The transition is instantaneous and violent. The crushing, silent darkness of the Mexican mud is gone. The suffocating weight of the silt is gone. You are bathed in light. It is a brilliant, turquoise incandescence that seems to vibrate against your new skin. It is so bright compared to your last life in the gloom that, if you had eyelids, you would squeeze them shut. But you don't. You only have 2 tiny black beads for eyes, set close together on a face that is impossibly white. You try to push yourself up from the mud, but there is no mud. You are clinging to a surface that feels like stiff, wet velvet. It is green. It is swaying. You look down at your body to check your limbs, and the shock hits you. The heavy, muscular tail of the salamander is gone. The feathery red gills are gone. The 4 legs and 5 toes that anchored you to the earth are gone. You have shrunk. You are no longer the size of a human hand. You are now 5 millimeters long. You are the size of a grain of rice. You are a speck of biological jelly in an ocean that stretches for 10,000 miles around you. You are a Costasiella kuroshimae. The humans call you a leaf sheep because, from their towering, distant perspective, you look like a cartoon lamb. You have a milky white face, 2 pink spots that look like blushing cheeks, and 2 dark rhinophores sticking up from your head that look like floppy ears. But you are not a sheep, and the reality of your life is definitely not cute. In this world, cute is just another word for edible. You are a sea slug, a sacoglossan sea slug, and you have woken up in a war zone. The first thing you feel is the physics of the water. In the lake, the water was a heavy, still blanket. Here, the water is a bully. You are clinging to a leaf of Avrainvilia algae on a shallow reef in the Indo-Pacific. The current is ripping past you. To a human diver swimming above, this current is a gentle drift. But physics works differently when you are 5 millimeters long. To you, this current is a hurricane gale. It pulls at your soft body, trying to peel you off the leaf and cast you into the blue void. You have no bones to brace against it. You have no shell to hide inside. You are a soft-bodied mollusk, completely naked to the elements. If you let go of this leaf, you will be swept away into the open water, where the wrasse and the damsel fish are waiting to snap you up like a piece of popcorn. You are the bottom of the food chain. You are a snack waiting to happen, so you hold on. You use the foot, the single, muscular sole that runs the length of your underside, to grip the algae cells. You flatten yourself. This is your first lesson in this new life. Grip or die. You look around at your environment. To your tiny eyes, this patch of algae is not a small plant. It is a vast, swaying jungle. The filaments of the algae rise up around you like towering green trees. The light filters through them, creating a dappled cathedral effect. You are walking on a canopy of green velvet, suspended in the blue. It is beautiful, but it is terrifyingly open. You sense the world differently now. Your ears, those black-tipped stalks on your head, are not for hearing sound. They are chemoreceptors. They are tasting the water. You taste the salt, sharp and clean, a chemical signature that tells you you are in the ocean. You taste the chemical trail of a shrimp passing nearby, a monster the size of a skyscraper to you. You feel the displacement of the water as a crab scuttles across the reef floor 10 feet below, a distance that feels like miles. But mostly, you taste the light. The sun is hammering down through the water column. In your last life as the axolotl, the sun was a threat. It was a drying force that would kill you. Here, the sun feels different. It feels like a battery charger, and you are running on empty. You feel a hunger that is distinct from the axolotl's hollow ache for meat. This isn't a desire to hunt. You are too slow to hunt. You move at a glacial pace, an oozing crawl that covers mere inches in an hour. You cannot chase prey. You cannot fight. So evolution has given you a different path. You crave the green. You look at the leaf you are standing on. It is not just your floor. It is your fuel. You need to harvest it. You begin to crawl. It is a slow, deliberate movement. You ripple the muscles of your foot, gliding over the microscopic terrain of the algae leaf. You are a glacier of white jelly moving across a plain of green felt. You are looking for the perfect spot to feed. You are looking for the freshest cells, the ones that are packed with chloroplasts, because you are about to do something that breaks the rules of animal biology. You are not just going to eat this plant. You are going to dismantle it, steal its engine, and install it inside your own body. You are going to become a hybrid. The current surges again, bending the leaf you are standing on. You are thrown sideways, your world tilting 45 degrees. You dig in, you clamp down, you ride out the turbulence, a tiny white speck holding on against the might of the Pacific Ocean. You wait for the water to settle. You are vulnerable, yes. You are soft, yes. But you are about to become powerful in a way the giants will never understand. You stabilize yourself against the current. The algae leaf beneath you stops thrashing, settling back into a gentle, rhythmic sway. You unclamp your foot slightly, just enough to resume your movement. You are hunting. But this hunt is not a chase. It is a slow-motion excavation. You crawl deeper into the forest of the algae. Up close, the surface of the Avrenvilia is a landscape of texture. It is composed of tightly woven filaments, like a carpet of thick green felt. You can feel the microscopic ridges against your skin. You can smell the sugar and the sunlight trapped inside the fibers. You are looking for a specific kind of cell. You pass over the older, tougher sections of the plant, the bark of this miniature tree. You are seeking the new growth, the tips of the filaments where the walls are thin and the life inside is rich. You find it, a cluster of cells that pulse with a vibrant emerald green. You stop. You anchor your tail end to the leaf. You rear up slightly, like a cobra, preparing to strike, though you move with the speed of a melting candle. You lower your head. You do not have a jaw that snaps shut. You have something far more precise. Inside your mouth, you possess a radula, a ribbon of teeth that acts like a microscopic chainsaw file. You press your mouth against the cell wall of the algae. You begin to rasp, scrape, scrape. You feel the wall give way. It is a surgical puncture, a tiny breach in the plant's defenses. You create a seal with your mouth and begin to suck. The sap of the algae rushes into you. It is cool, sweet, and thick. It tastes of raw energy. In a normal animal, this fluid would go straight to the stomach. Acids would boil it. Enzymes would tear it apart, destroying the complex machinery of the plant to turn it into simple fuel. But your body is different. Your digestive system is a thief. It is a smuggler. As you drink the green fluid, your body scans it. It ignores the water. It ignores the simple sugars. It is looking for the prizes, the chloroplasts. These are the tiny biological engines that the plant uses to turn sunlight into food. They are complex, fragile structures that should be destroyed by digestion. But you protect them. You can feel them moving inside you. It is a strange internal sensation, like drinking cold water on a hot day. But the coldness doesn't stay in your gut. It spreads. You guide these stolen engines away from your stomach. You push them out into a network of specialized tubes that run just under your skin. You have dozens of cherata on your back, those leaf-like spikes that make you look like a succulent plant. Right now, they are white and translucent. They are empty storage lockers. You begin to fill them. You push the stolen chloroplasts into these cherata. You are packing them into your own cells, arranging them in neat rows, angling them toward the sky like solar panels on a roof. This process is called kleptoplasty, theft. You are the only animal on Earth that can do this with such efficiency. You are dismantling the technology of the plant and installing it into your own flesh. You can see the change happening. If you could look in a mirror, you would see the milky white tips of your cherata turning a deep, rich green. You are camouflaging yourself. You are disappearing into the background of the leaf. But the color is just a side effect. The real power is the feeling. As the chloroplasts click into place, they begin to vibrate. They are reacting to the light that is hammering down through the water. They don't know they are inside a slug. They think they are still inside the plant. So they get to work. They start to hum. They start to spin sunlight into sugar. You finish the meal. You pull back from the algae leaf. leaving a tiny white scar where you drain the cell. You are full. You feel heavy. But it is a good heaviness. It is the weight of potential power. You crawl upward, toward the very tip of the algae filament. You are exposing yourself to the current again, which is dangerous. The water rushes over you, threatening to peel you off. But you need the angle. You need the direct line to the surface. You reach the edge. You orient your back toward the shimmer of the afternoon sun. And then the system comes online. It happens instantly. The light strikes the stolen engines inside your skin. You feel a wave of warmth spread through your tiny body. It isn't just external heat. It is internal fuel. You are generating your own food while you stand still. The hunger vanishes. The biological panic of starvation fades away. You are a solar-powered animal in a world of desperate scavengers. You tuck your rhinophores back to protect them. You curl your body slightly to maximize the surface area catching the light. You enter a state of trance. You are a living battery, charging in the silent blue afternoon. For the first time since you woke up in this violent ocean, you are not fighting the world. You are letting the world feed you. You are safe. You are green. You are full of light. You are now doing something that violates the basic laws of the animal kingdom. For 3 billion years, life on Earth has been divided into 2 camps. There are the producers, the plants and algae, who stay still, endure the weather, and make food from the sky. And there are the consumers, the animals, who move, hunt, kill, and eat. You are the exception. You are the glitch in the system. As you cling to the swaying tip of the algae leaf, you are not sleeping. You are operating. Inside the translucent skin of your back, the millions of stolen chloroplasts are vibrating. They are hard at work, stripping the carbon out of the seawater and fusing it with the energy from the sun to print sugar directly into your bloodstream. It is a visceral, electric sensation. In your human life, you know the feeling of a sugar rush after eating a candy bar. Multiply that by 10, and imagine it is not coming from your stomach, but seeping in through your skin. You feel a constant, low-grade buzzing. It is the hum of a biological factory running at 100% capacity. You are a hybrid. You are a solar panel made of meat. From your vantage point on the high leaf, you look down at the reef below. It is a scene of constant, desperate violence. You see a tiny hermit crab wrestling with a snail, trying to rip it out of its shell to steal a new home. You see a worm shooting out of the sand to snatch a passing particle of waste. Everyone down there is fighting. Everyone is burning calories to find calories. They are trapped in the endless, exhausting cycle of the hunt. But you are above it all. You are the only pacifist in a war zone. You don't need to kill anything today. You don't even need to move. As long as the sun holds, you are infinite. But this power comes with a terrifying vulnerability. To work, solar panels must be exposed. You cannot hide in a crevice. You cannot burrow under the sand. To feed, you must stand out in the open, on the highest point of the reef, bathed in the spotlight. You are a glowing green beacon in a blue world. You feel the current tugging at you, trying to dislodge your grip. If you fall now, you fall into the shadows below, where the photosynthesis stops and the predators wait. So you clamp down harder with your foot. You are trading safety for energy. Time becomes fluid here. Without the need to hunt, minutes stretch into hours. The sun moves across the surface of the water, changing the angle of the light shafts that pierce the gloom. You adjust with it. You tilt your karata, those leaf-like spikes on your back, tracking the sun like a sunflower. You are maximizing your harvest. But then, a cloud passes over the sun above the waves. The effect is instant. The light drops. The buzzing in your blood falters. The sugar production stops. You feel a sudden, cold emptiness. The factory shuts down. This is the dark side of your existence. You are tethered to a power source you cannot control. When the light goes, you are just a slug again, slow, weak, and defenseless. You feel the panic of the machine powering down. You are suddenly aware of how cold the water is. You are aware of how exposed you are. You freeze, making yourself as small as possible. You try to look like just another bump on the algae. You wait for the cloud to pass. This is the tension of your life. You are living on the edge of starvation and excess, dictated entirely by the weather in a world you cannot even see. The cloud moves. The beam of light returns, striking you with physical force. The humming restarts. The sugar hits your veins again. You uncurl. You resume the pose. You are getting heavier. The carbohydrates you are generating are filling your tissues. You are growing, cell by cell, fueled by stolen technology. It is a triumph of evolution. But as you bask in this alien success, your chemoreceptors, those bunny ear stalks on your head, pick up a new signal. It cuts through the taste of the sugar and the salt. It is a sharp, bitter chemical trail. It is close. And it is not coming from the algae. Something is climbing the leaf. You cannot turn your head quickly. You cannot run. You can only taste the water and realize that you are not alone on this stalk. The vibration in the plant changes. It is not the rhythmic sway of the current anymore. It is a jerky, staccato movement. Click, click, click. Something with hard legs is ascending the tower. Something that does not eat sunlight. Something that eats meat. You are about to meet the nightmare of the micro-jungle. The vibration is unmistakable. It travels up the stalk of the algae like a tremor in the earth. Click. Pause, click. You stop your photosynthesis. The buzzing in your veins quiets as you divert energy to your sensory organs. You cannot see well. Your eyes are just simple light detectors, but your chemoreceptors are screaming. The water tastes of chitin and aggression. You are clinging to the high ground, the canopy of the algae forest. Below you, in the shadows of the stalks, something is climbing. To a human, this predator is invisible. It is a caprellid, a skeleton shrimp. It is a masterpiece of horror engineering. It looks like a stick figure made of bleached bone, with long, grasping claws that fold up like a praying mantis. It mimics the algae perfectly. It waits for days, motionless, until something soft wanders by. But you didn't wander. You are the beacon at the top of the tower. You feel the water displace as it reaches the leaf below you. It is huge compared to you, maybe 2 centimeters long to your 5 millimeters. It is a titan. You have no defenses. You have no shell. You have no poison. You have no speed. You are a bag of sugar and stolen solar panels. If it grabs you, it will tear you apart to get to the energy you have stored. The predator moves again. You feel the leaf shudder. It is testing the structural integrity, preparing to lunge. You have one option. It is desperate and it is dangerous. The current is strong up here. It is the very force you have been fighting against since you woke up. It is the bully that wants to sweep you away into the blue void. But now, the bully is your only escape route. You have to let go. This goes against every instinct you have. To let go is to become flotsam. To let go is to surrender to the chaos of the ocean. But the click is closer now. You can taste the ammonia breath of the shrimp. You unclamp your foot. Instantly, the physics of the world sees you. The current hits you like a freight train. You are ripped off the leaf. The world becomes a blur of spinning turquoise. You are tumbling through the water column, weightless, out of control. You see the algae forest rushing away from you. You see the shadow of the skeleton shrimp snapping its claws at the empty space where you just stood. It missed. But now you are falling. You drift over the edge of the reef. The bottom drops away. The safety of the green jungle is gone, replaced by the deep, dark blue of the open channel. You are a speck of white dust in a cathedral of water. This is the most vulnerable moment of your life. A passing damselfish could swallow you without even chewing. A filter-feeding clam could suck you in. You curl into a ball. You tuck your glowing green karata in tight, hiding your stolen treasure. You try to look like a piece of debris, a dead leaf, a bit of foam. You drift for what feels like hours. The sun is your only anchor, spinning above you. You are at the mercy of the tides. And then impact. You hit something hard. It isn't rock. It isn't sand. It feels smooth, calcified and warm. You uncurl slowly. You taste the surface. It is coral. But not just any coral. You have landed on a brain coral, a massive groove structure that looks like a labyrinth of stone. You are miles, in snail terms, from where you started. You are lost, but you are alive. The skeleton shrimp is back in the forest, waiting for a meal that never came. You grip the coral. The texture is rough, giving you a good hold. You are exposed here. There is no algae to hide in, but the sun is beginning to set. The light is changing from the harsh white of midday to a deep, bruising purple. The energy in your skin begins to fade. The solar factories are powering down for the night. You feel the heavy, lethargic weight of sleep returning. But as the sun vanishes, the ocean does something magical. It doesn't just go dark. It turns on the lights. You are about to witness the nightlife of the reef, not as a victim, but as a spectator in the front row. You settle into the ridges of the brain coral. You have escaped the skeleton shrimp, and now, from your high vantage point on this calcified mountain, you understand what it means to be a spectator. The reef is not a peaceful garden. It is a construction site and a slaughterhouse combined. And because you are so small, a speck of white jelly, you are ignored. You are invisible to the titans around you. You have a front row seat to the machinery of the ocean. To your right, a shadow falls over the coral. It is a parrotfish, a bulky turquoise giant that swims with rowing motions of its pectoral fins. It isn't interested in you. It is interested in the stone you are sitting on. You feel the vibration before you hear the sound. Crunch. The parrotfish bites the reef. Its teeth are fused into a beak that is harder than concrete. It shears off a chunk of coral, grinding the limestone skeleton into dust to get at the algae living inside. The sound is deafening to your chemoreceptors, a grinding tectonic roar. It excretes a cloud of white sand, the digested remains of the reef. You are watching a fish terraform the planet, one bite at a time. To your left, you see a darker drama. A moray eel is breathing in a crevice, its mouth opening and closing rhythmically to pump water over its gills. It looks menacing, but it is actually being serviced. A cleaner rasa, a tiny striped fish, is swimming inside the eel's mouth. It is picking parasites off the predator's teeth. It is a high-stakes transaction. If the eel sneezes, if the eel gets spooked, the cleaner is gone. You are watching the delicate, dangerous economy of the wild. Everyone is trading a service for survival, except you. You are the anomaly. You are the only thing here that doesn't need to hustle. You are still charging. Even as the afternoon sun begins to dip, your dorsal carata are soaking up the photons. You are full. You are warm. You feel a sense of superiority in your stillness. Let the fish grind the rocks. Let the shrimp risk their lives. You have hacked the system. But the ocean does not tolerate arrogance for long. As you watch the parrotfish move on, you notice a shift in the environment. It starts as a heaviness. The rhythmic swaying of the soft corals slows down. The water, which was rushing over the reef with oxygen-rich vigor, begins to stall. The surface of the ocean is getting closer to you. You look up. The shimmering silver ceiling of your world is descending. The tide is going out. In the deep ocean, the tide is just a gentle lift and fall. But here, on the shallow reef flat, the tide is a guillotine. The water is receding, pulling back to reveal the bones of the reef to the air. You are safe on your brain coral for now, but the buffer zone is vanishing. The 10 feet of water that protected you from the raw atmosphere is shrinking to 5 feet, then 2, then inches. The show is over. The theater is collapsing. You are no longer a spectator watching others work. You are about to become a victim of the climate itself. The water level drops until the surface tension is almost touching your sensory stalks. The flow stops completely. You are now trapped in a tide pool, a stagnant pocket of water cut off from the cooling circulation of the sea. To a human on the beach, a tide pool is a curiosity. To you, it is a pressure cooker. As the fresh, cool current retreats, the sun, which was your best friend just moments ago, turns on you. The rays are no longer filtered by depth. They are drilling down into the stagnant water, heating it up rapidly. The temperature spikes. You feel it instantly. You are an ectotherm. Your body has no thermostat. You are exactly as hot as the water around you, and the water is becoming soup. This creates a biological paradox. You are a solar-powered animal. You need the light to feed the stolen chloroplasts in your skin. But now, there is too much light. The UV radiation is hammering your delicate tissues. The chloroplasts inside you, those stolen engines, begin to spin out of control. They are working too hard, producing oxygen radicals, toxic byproducts of overactive photosynthesis. You are overheating your own engine. You feel a stinging sensation on your back. It is the cellular equivalent of a sunburn, but it is happening from the inside out. You need to find the Goldilocks zone. Zone immediately. Not too dark, or you starve. Not too bright, or you cook. You begin to move. The brain coral is rough, its ridges like mountain ranges to your soft foot. You crawl down into one of the grooves, a valley of calcium carbonate. Here the shadows are deeper. You tuck your green solar panels in, folding your carutta flat against your back, shading them from the direct assault of the sun. You reduce your surface area. You ball up. You are regulating your own power plant, manually dimming the switches to prevent a meltdown. The water around you tastes bitter now. Without the high tide to flush the reef, the salinity is rising as the water evaporates into the hot air. It tastes metallic, heavy. It burns your skin slightly. You wait. You can feel the vibration of the waves breaking far out on the reef crest, miles away. You are waiting for the ocean to breathe back in. You are waiting for the cool rush of the incoming tide. Minutes stretch into hours. The heat presses down on you like a physical weight. You are lethargic. Your movements slow to a halt. You are entering a heat-induced stupor, conserving every molecule of moisture in your body. You are a tiny green ball of endurance, hiding in a crack of rock, waiting for the planet to turn. And then, in the depths of your heat haze, a shadow falls over you. It is not a cloud. It is not a predator. It is a shape that looks eerily familiar. You extend one rhinophore, your sensory stalk, out of your hiding spot. You taste the water. It is a chemical signature you recognize instantly. It smells like algae. It smells like solar power. It smells like you. You crawl out of the crevice of the brain coral, moving millimeter by agonizing millimeter. The heat is still oppressive, but curiosity overrides comfort. The other shape is doing the same. It is another Costasiella kuroshimae, another leaf sheep. In the vast, chaotic emptiness of the ocean, the statistical probability of this meeting is microscopic. You are 2 grains of rice bumping into each other in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. To a human, this would look like 2 specks of lint floating near each other. But to you, this is a monumental event. You are solitary by nature. You live your life alone on your leaf, guarding your stolen sun catchers. You do not have a family. You do not have a pack. You do not have a language, but you do have a biological imperative. You approach each other. The movement is agonizingly slow. There is no rushing in your world. You glide over the rough texture of the coral, leaving a faint trail of mucus, a glistening roadmap of where you have been. You reach out with your rhinophores, those black-tipped sensory stalks that twitch in the current. You touch the other. There is no sound. There is no body language. There is only a chemical handshake. You are exchanging data in a language of molecules. You are tasting the genetic history of this stranger. You discover that, like you, this stranger is a marvel of efficiency. It is both male and female. You both are. You are hermaphrodites, carrying the potential for both fatherhood and motherhood within a single, soft body. In the deep, dark ocean, finding a mate is so rare that nature decided not to waste time with genders. Any 2 of you can create life. If you were to mate now, you would both swim away pregnant. You would both lay thousands of eggs in a spiral ribbon on the algae, ensuring the next generation of thieves. But today is not about mating. The tide is still too low. The heat is still too high. The energy cost of reproduction would kill you both. This is just an acknowledgement, a momentary pause in the struggle for survival. You sit side by side on the ridge of the coral, 2 white-faced, green-backed anomalies, 2 biological glitches who figured out how to steal the sun. There is a strange comfort in it. You are not the only thief in the system. You are not the only impossible thing. You watch the other leaf sheep adjust its karata, angling them slightly to catch the last fading rays of the sun that are piercing the surface film. You do the same. You are mirroring each other. 2 living batteries charging frantically before the night falls. You are stockpiling sugar. You are topping off the tanks, and the night is falling. You feel the shift in the water before you see it. The temperature begins to drop. The bitter, hot taste of the stagnant low tide is being flushed away. A cool, crisp current washes over the reef. The tide is turning. The ocean is breathing in. The water level rises, covering you, lifting the crushing weight of the gravity and the heat. The sun dips below the horizon. The brutal, cooking heat vanishes, replaced by a soothing indigo twilight. The solar factories in your skin shudder and shut down. The buzzing stops. The hunger returns, but it is a sleepy hunger, a metabolic winding down. The other leaf sheep turns away, catching a drift in the new current, floating off toward a patch of algae to hide for the night. You are alone again. But the darkness that is coming is not empty. As the sun dies, the reef is preparing to perform its second magic trick of the day. You have seen the power of the sun. Now, you are about to see the power of the dark. The sun disappears completely. The turquoise curtain of the ocean is pulled up, replaced by a heavy velvet black. For a normal animal, this is the time of fear. Darkness usually means predators. It means teeth you cannot see. For you, it is the time of powerlessness. Your internal factories have shut down. The buzzing of the sugar production in your veins has faded to silence. You are no longer a machine. You are just a slug again. Cold, slow, vulnerable. But as your eyes adjust to the darkness, you realize the world is not black. It is neon. The reef is waking up, and it is screaming with light. To your left, a cluster of zooplankton is disturbed by a passing fish. They explode into a cloud of electric blue sparks. It looks like a galaxy being born in a jar. Below you, the coral polyps are extending their tentacles to feed. Under the moonlight, they fluoresce with ghostly greens, pinks, and purples. You are sitting on a disco floor. This is bioluminescence, cold light. It is the language of the deep. It is a communication system of flashes, strobes, and pulses that signals danger, sex, and food. You are witnessing a chemical reaction where luciferin meets oxygen, creating a photon without creating heat. It is the opposite of the sun that burned you earlier. You watch a ctenophore, a comb jelly, drift past in the current. It is transparent, a ghost in the water, but running down its sides are rows of cilia that beat in rhythm. As they beat, they diffract the faint light, creating a running rainbow of LED colors, red, green, blue, violet, cycling endlessly. It looks like a spaceship drifting through the void. You feel a vibration in the coral. A crab is picking its way across the ridges. In the daylight, it was a brown, muddy thing. Now, under the starlight, its shell glows with a faint, ultraviolet aura. You are tiny, but you are witnessing the secret life of the planet. You feel the cold water pressing against your skin. Without the sun to warm your stolen chloroplasts, your metabolism slows. You are entering a state of torpor again, similar to the mud sleep of the axolotl, but lighter, cleaner. You tuck your head down. You fold your tirata flat against your back. You mimic the texture of the coral. You have survived the drop. You have survived the shrimp. You have survived the heat wave. You realize something profound as you watch the lights dance around you. In the lake, survival was about enduring the rot. It was about lying in the filth and refusing to die. Here, survival is about adaptation. It is about taking what the world throws at you, sunlight, algae, current, and using it. You are not just a scavenger anymore. You are an innovator. A school of flashlight fish passes overhead, each one bearing a glowing pocket of bacteria under its eye. They blink on and off, a Morse code of the hunt. They don't see you. You are too small. You are too still. You are safe in the chaos of the night. You let the rhythm of the ocean take you. Push, pull, push, pull. It is the same heartbeat you felt in the dream, but now you are part of it. You are no longer fighting the physics of the water. You are resting in them. You have lived two lives today. You have been the heavy, ancient god hiding in the mud of Mexico, and you have been the solar-powered thief riding the currents of the Pacific. You have seen the bottom, and you have seen the light. As the night deepens, the reef quiets down. The predators have eaten. The prey has hidden. The ocean settles into a deep, resonant hum. You close your tiny, simple eyes. You let the current rock you to sleep. You are drifting in the half-sleep of the reef, bathed in the soft glow of the bioluminescence. But the ocean is a restless sleeper. It starts with a change in the rhythm. The gentle push-pull of the tide, which rocked you like a cradle, begins to stutter. It becomes jagged, irregular. You feel a drop in pressure. Above the surface, the air pressure is plummeting. A A tropical squall is forming over the Pacific. To a human on a boat, this is just a rainstorm. To you, clinging to a piece of coral 10 feet underwater, it is a mixer. The swell arrives first. A massive wall of energy travels through the water column. It hits the reef structure, causing the soft corals to whip violently back and forth. You are sitting on the hard-brained coral, which doesn't move, but the water rushing over it accelerates. You feel the drag, the lift. You are 5 millimeters of soft tissue. You have no claws. You only have slime and suction. You flatten your foot against the calcium carbonate ridges. You clamp down with every ounce of hydraulic pressure your tiny body can muster. Then, the noise begins. Rain on the ocean surface sounds like static to a human. To you, underwater, it sounds like a billion marbles being dropped on a tin roof. It is a deafening, hissing roar that drowns out the clicks of the shrimp and the grinding of the parrotfish. The water becomes chaotic. It is no longer flowing in one direction. It is swirling. Eddies and vortexes form around the coral heads. You are buffeted from the left, then the right, then pulled straight up. This is the terror of being small. You are not the master of your own movement. You are a passenger on a planet that is spinning too fast. Debris begins to fly past you. Sand, broken bits of shell, torn fragments of algae. A piece of seaweed whips past your head, missing you by a fraction of a millimeter. If it had hit you, it would have knocked you loose, sending you tumbling into the dark abyss beyond the drop-off. You are cold. The storm churns up deep water, mixing the layers. The temperature drops. Your metabolism, already slow without the sun, grinds to a near halt. You are stiff. You are numb. You can't feel your own foot anymore. You just have to trust that the chemistry of your mucus will hold. You retreat into your mind. You focus on the stolen chloroplasts inside your skin. They are dormant, cold, and dark. They cannot help you now. You are just an animal trying not to be erased by the weather. The storm rages for what feels like an eternity. The roar of the rain, the whip of the current, the cold. You are enduring. You are practicing the lesson of the axolotl. Don't move. Don't let go. Just wait. And then, as quickly as it started, the chaotic swirling stops. The marbles on the roof stop falling. The heavy, confused vibration of the water smooths out into a long, rhythmic swell. The squall has passed. You are still attached. You are still here. The storm leaves behind a silence that is heavy and clean. The sediment settles. The water clears. You are exhausted. The effort of holding on has drained your glucose reserves. You are a battery running on 1%. You are cold, stiff, and curled into a tight ball of preservation. You cannot uncurl. Your muscles are too cold to fire. You need a jump start. You wait in the dark, sensing the change in the chemistry of the water. And then it comes. The first photon. It pierces the surface of the ocean, travels down through the water column, bounces off the white sand of the sea floor, and strikes the tip of your left serrata. It is a spark. Deep inside your skin, a dormant chloroplast wakes up. It catches the energy. It spins. It produces a single molecule of sugar. Then the second photon hits, then a billion more. The sun is rising over the Pacific. The effect on your body is visceral. It is like a system reboot. You feel the warmth spreading from your back into your core. It isn't just thermal heat. It is metabolic fuel. The sugar rushes into your cold muscles. The stiffness fades. The numbness in your foot vanishes, replaced by a tingling pins and needles sensation as the nerves come back online. You uncurl. It is a slow, unfolding movement, like a flower opening in time-lapse. You extend your sensory stalks. You raise your solar panels. You orient yourself toward the surface. The water is a brilliant crystalline blue again. The sun is a golden hammer smashing through the waves, waking up the entire reef. You feel the hum return, the buzzing in your veins. The factory is open. You begin to crawl. You are hungry, but not for food. You are hungry for height. You leave the safety of the brain coral. You move across the sand. You find a new stalk of Avrenvilia algae. You climb up the green trunk, past the shadows, to the very top of the canopy. You clamp yourself onto the highest leaf. You are exposed. You are visible, but you don't care. You turn your back to the east. You let the full force of the sun hit you. You are fully charged. You are alive. You survived the night, the storm, and the cold. You look out over the reef. The fish are swimming. The coral is swaying. The world has reset, and you are part of it. A tiny, green, solar-powered thief, ready to steal another day of life from the sky. You are drifting now, suspended in the quiet space between the two worlds you have inhabited tonight. You have done the impossible. You have broken the rigid rules of biology, geography, and time. You have lived inside two of the most remarkable survival machines nature has ever designed. And now, as the current slows and the mud settles, it is time to look back at what you survived. Think back to where you started. You were the axolotl, the creature of weight, the monster of the mud. You learned that sometimes survival isn't about fighting. It isn't about being the strongest, the fastest, or the most aggressive. Sometimes survival is about refusal. Refusing to grow up. Refusing to leave the water. Refusing to accept an injury as permanent. In the dark, silt-choked canals of Xochimilco, you learned the power of deep time. You felt the memory of the Aztec god Axolotl, the one who was too afraid to jump into the fire, the one who chose the safety of the bottom. You lived that choice. You learned that you can lose a part of yourself, a tail, a limb, a piece of your heart, and simply build it back. You learned that you are not a fixed object, scarred by the world, but a fluid process, constantly renewing yourself in the dark. You cheated death by staying young forever. You cheated death by refusing to let it stick. And then, the dream changed. You became the leaf sheep, the creature of light, the thief of the sun. You learned that you don't always have to play by the rules of the food chain. You don't have to hunt. You don't have to kill. You learned that if the world is dangerous, if the current is strong and the predators are everywhere, you can survive by becoming something else entirely. In the violent, sun-drenched currents of the Pacific Reef, you learned the power of adaptation. You learned that even if you are small, soft, and defenseless, a speck of jelly in a hurricane, you can hack the system. You can take the technology of the plants and install it in your own skin. You can turn your back to the sky and feed on the light itself. You survived the heat wave that tried to cook you. You survived the storm that tried to erase you. You cheated death by becoming a hybrid, by stealing the power of the sun to fuel a body made of meat. These are the two ways to cheat the end. One is to hide in the dark, slow down, and fix what is broken. The other is to step into the light, speed up, and become something new. Most humans spend their lives thinking they are fragile. We think that one mistake, one injury, one wrong turn will ruin us. We fear the darkness, and we fear the exposure. But you have just lived the proof that life is resilient. Life is stubborn. Life will steal solar panels and regrow spinal cords, just to see the sun rise one more time. You are back in your own body now. The journey is over. You are lying in your bed. The heavy, suffocating water of the lake is gone. The ripping, chaotic current of the reef is gone. The mud is gone. But the memory remains. You feel the weight of your blanket, and it reminds you of the comforting pressure of the silt, holding you safe. You see the darkness of your room, and it reminds you of the neon night of the reef, glowing with silent life. You are safe here. You are the apex predator, resting in your fortress of climate control and safety. You do not need to hunt tonight. You do not need to hide from a heron. You do not need to grip a leaf to keep from being washed away. But deep down, in the oldest, most primitive parts of your brain, the parts that remember when we all swam in the ocean, you remember what it feels like to be the underdog. You remember the cold. You remember the hunger. You remember the triumph of the desperate gulp of air at the surface. You have survived the day. You have survived the journey through the biological impossible. Now you can rest. The canal is quiet. The boats have stopped moving. The reef is dark. The storm has passed. The biological machines have powered down. Let your own machine power down now. Let your heart slow to the rhythm of the mud sleep. Let your mind drift on the current of the solar dream. You are safe. You are whole. You are resting. Sleep well, survivor.